So guys, look, I'm going to cover my play today in NVIDIA. What you're looking at is a 2-minute chart of NVIDIA. All of you should know by now that there are certain things that are non-negotiables when it comes to looking at my stock or play. First of all, I'm going to always have the 20-period simple moving average and the 200-period simple moving average overlaid on my chart. So that is what you see on my chart. The blue is the 20, of course, and I'm only doing this for the benefit of those who are here for the first time or relatively new with us. And of course, the 200. When trading off of the open, my most ideal setup or scenario before the market opens is what I call a flat, narrow state. So before the market opens, I'm looking for anything on my watch list with a flat, narrow state, meaning I want the state to be like that. Now, what's a flat, narrow state more specifically? It is when you have a flat 200, a relatively flat 20, and your price is tight and flat as well. The most ideal flat state is when all three things are flat. So you've got the 20 is relatively flat. The 200 is flat as well. And your price is in a tight, flattish type range. That's the most ideal narrow, flat, narrow state. If you look at the latter part of yesterday's data, this is the latter part of yesterday's data. All we need is the last 45 minutes or so of yesterday's data. What you see is you have that scenario: flat 200, relatively flat 20, flat price activity, giving me a flat, narrow state. Now, here's the key, guys. I know this before the market opens. I know this 5 to 10 minutes before the market opens. Now, why is this important? Because the best trades of your life will occur from flat, narrow states. I'm going to say that 2 more times. The best trades of your entire life, your entire career, will stem from a flat, narrow state. Last time, this is a hint for you to write this down, for you to make this your primary trading setup. The best trades of your entire career, I don't care if you got 40 years ahead of you, 50 years ahead of you, your best trades will stem from a flat, narrow state, making this state the ultimate state to start from. Now, you can't have it every day, but you can have it frequently enough to make it your number one goal. Why is the flat, narrow state the best state of them all? It's because the flat, narrow state tells you that all volatility has gone to practically zero. So the markets, guys, vacillate between no volatility to wide volatility, back to no volatility, and repeat. Narrow state leads to wide state. Wide state leads back to narrow state, and you repeat. So your best opportunity to catch a long from a narrow state is right here, right above the narrow state. Your best opportunity to catch a short is right here, right below a narrow state. Boom. And the long. Boom. Your best trades of your life will be from narrow states, but right above the narrow state or right below the narrow state. If you can do this every day, you're going to be a star. If you can make this your focus every day, you're going to be a star. Flat, narrow state, perfect position. The stock opens in the perfect position this morning. I grab it early. Boom. I always teach you that you should have at least a minimum of a 1-minute filter, which means that you should let the first 1 minute go by and you can anticipate or jump into something after the first 1 minute has passed. The exception to that is if you are surging from the 200. So if you look carefully, NVIDIA is surging from the 200. So quite honestly, I did get it early. I got it in before the 1 minute filter because of the surge off of the 200. I told you guys we're always going after the drop, rally, drop. The drop, rally, drop. It's really two legs. Leg one, I want, and I want leg two. And I'm going after this on every trade. The drop, the rally, the drop. The drop, the rally, the drop. This 1, 2, 3 movement, 1, 2, 3 movement can be micro or macro or even mini. So just like you can have a 1 minute, 2 minute, a 5 minute, a 10-minute chart, a daily chart, you can have this 1, 2, 3 movement, micro, mini, macro. I would say your mini is when you are having the 1, 2, 3 in the same bar. So the mini is the same bars dropping, 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 dropping. Then it's moving up, moving up, moving up in the same bar. And then sometimes you can even get the drop in the same bar. This is the same bar. And if you didn't watch it, you would not have known that that bar was made like this. Boom, boom, boom. Does that make sense? The mini is in the same bar. The bounce happens in the same bar. Drop, same bar bounces. Micro is when the bounce happens in another bar. That's the micro. So here is a separate bar bouncing. It is not the same bar bouncing. It is a separate bar bouncing. That's the micro. And then there's the macro, where it's a multiple bar bounce. A multiple bar bounce is the macro. So what I've done very quickly for you is cover the 1, 2, 3 phenomena, but in 3 different time frames. It's the macro, multiple bar, the micro, 1 bar bounce, the mini, intra bar bounce. Now, I want you to look at bar 1, and I want you to tell me what happened in bar 1. We drop, and then from here, what happens? In the same bar. You see it? It bounced back up. Yes. So you see the bounce. Now, where did the bounce stop, guys? The mini bounce, right? Where did the bounce stop? It stopped the next bar. So it was rallying up, 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 up. Time ran out on bar 1, and it continued a little bit further in bar 2. So that's an up move, which really means that green is hiding from you in between. That's what a bounce is. It's a green movement. So a green bar is actually hiding in between. So what do you have? You have, and it's a 50% bounce too. So you have the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you have the mini, you have the micro. You don't count the really small ones, guys. You don't count the small ones. So you have the mini, which is the same bar. You got the mini, you got the mini, you got the micro, and here's the macro. Does that make sense? Do you see all 3 of them here so far? So what was my play, guys? Enter. I entered early. If this got a little bit longer, I would have taken profits there, even on bar 1, but I didn't. But I did have orders up the bar. So I placed short orders in advance. I don't necessarily think that is for everyone. Most of you know, but it is my responsibility to tell you what I did. So when if this bounces, I'm not afraid of the bounce. I'm waiting for the bounce. Boom, 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 boom. I get more short, and then the collapse happens. Boom. Now, that was good for, a little less than $3,000 on that miniature gain. But guys, look, I play the mini, which is I'm out there. Remember, boom, I'm out there playing the mini. So we bounce and new low out, because that's how you play this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're in, sometimes you're out, you're in again, and you're out on the new low. So the new low is here. Take a look. Drop, bounce, new low. Now, that was a little less than $3,000 in profits. A lot of the move is here, but that's when you want to get into moving next into maybe the micro, which is a 1 bar bounce, and even the macro, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute here. But I want you to understand that I focus a lot on the mini and some micros, but because I have responsibility with traders, I sacrifice kind of playing the whole thing so that I can look at them. My goal is just to get a nice, decent early gain in. Now I can relax and focus on my traders, what they're doing, watching their plays, so forth and so on. So I will tend to play the micro and the minis, and I'm done. It's a nice retirement style of trading minis and micros. I've been retired for quite some time, but will never stop trading. But I'm just telling you, when you say Oliver always gets out of the play early, it's because I'm focused on the minis and the micros, so I can now focus on you. This is how I handle the retirement phase of my trading. You guys understand that? You got that? If that were not the case, you would get ignored all open. The whole open, you would get ignored. I promise you. The whole trading period, you would get ignored. Remember, I always told you that sometimes you can get too much, and it means don't go for more. Sometimes you can get too much of a good thing. Your first bar can be so long that it has used up all of its bullets in its first bar. Done. It's just too big, too much. You can also get a first movement that is so big and long that you should doubt the next move. Now, it's working so far, but this is big. Also, I'm going to say that this is a whale complete. That green bar is your separator and your whale complete. So you, in a sense, have your whale complete. You, in a sense, have your macro whale complete. That is type 3 whale. So type 1 is that, type 2 is that, and type 3 is that. This is type 3. 1, 2, sideways, and 3. Brief pause, drop. The key thing is this spot right there in a narrow state, always your sweet spot. Let's quickly take a look at Trader T10, Roku. That's it. There you go. Look at that. Now, what was a little tricky, not too tricky, is that your first bar was red, but this red is in a bull position. You got to ignore that. The next bar neutralizes the red, basically making the red non-existent by painting over it. And right out of that perfect position, do you see the narrow state and the perfect position? Your best trades are going to come from a flat, narrow state and the perfect position. The best trades of your life, over and over and over again, right? Drop, rally, drop. Whale complete, done. That's type 3, whale complete. If I could get you to focus the vast majority of your attention, your focus on flat, narrow states, where your stock starts relatively close at or relatively close to the perfect position on that narrow state. If I could get you to do that, that's the challenging part. I can teach you, but I can't make you. If I could get you to just focus there with narrow states, just focus there with narrow states, I could make you not only a star, but a very, very rich star. If I could only do it. When I grow up, that's what I want to be able to say. I've done. I've convinced you this is the way. I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm trying really hard to get you to see this, to get you to understand, to get you to do it, not just move on to the next thing. Oliver, that was cool. Awesome session. And you're right back to doing the stupid things. Trying to get you to not just see it, but do it.